Welcome to another edition of Ben Carlos Mandate. Still in the spirit of the one-year anniversary of the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, a member representing Bender Federal Constituency, I'm talking about Right Honorable Benjamin Okezie Kalu. We're going to take stock of what has happened in the last 1 year in terms of legislative matters and constituency projects. And it's going to be a two-phase program on Ben Carlos Mandate this morning. First, we're going to be speaking to Austeness, who is the Chief Press Secretary to the Deputy Speaker, on legislative matters that he's going to be responding to questions and bringing us up to speed in terms of what has happened in the last 1 year. And of course, the second half of the program, we're going to be speaking to Honorable Chijioke Chukwu, advisor to the Deputy Speaker, and of course, former Minority Leader of the Abia State House of Assembly, and he will be talking to us on constituency projects. Meanwhile, I'm already being joined by the Chief Press Secretary to the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives. I'm talking about Austeness. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Mr. Wisdom. Good morning. Good morning, Abians. Good morning, Nigerians. Nice to be here again this morning. Thank you so much.
The last time we spoke, we were very close to that milestone day. I'm talking about the 13th of June 2024. However, we are how many days away from it? I think we are 4 days away from that day, and we are still looking back at what has happened under the watchful eyes of the member representing Bender Federal Constituency, and of course the number 6 citizen in the nation, talking about Right Honorable Benjamin Okezie Kalu. I would love you to start off basically by giving us a rundown of the data in terms of bills which he has raised and sponsored at the House of Representatives.
Thank you, Mr. Wisdom. Once again, Nigerians, Abians, good morning. Yes, let me first of all apologize to all Abians. We had expected the Deputy Speaker, His Excellency, Right Honorable Benjamin Okezie, to be on this program to speak to you, to speak to his constituents today. But as we speak, a national duty called. If he's not on his way, he's not already in Lagos, he's on his way to see Mr. President. That's a national duty, and it's for the good of the Bende people, for the good of Abia people, for the good of Igbo, and for the good of entire Nigerians. Like I've always said here on this program, you really have an indefatigable Deputy Speaker in Right Honorable Benjamin Okezie Kalu, who goes about actually representing his people, is for the interest of the people. Thank you. Having said that, let me tell you that the lawmaking process, any member who is coming to the National Assembly has 3 core functions, and that is the way it works in the lawmaking process. One, it's lawmaking in the legislature. The second point there is representation, and the third point there is oversight, or oversighting, you may say. Now, lawmaking process is what we know. You make a law for the federal government, for the good governance, according to the Constitution, what the Constitution has stipulated. That is in section 88 and 89. You have legislature that makes good laws for the governing, of the country. Now, another one is representation, oversight. In the course of lawmaking process itself, the Deputy Speaker has done marvelously well, I must say. And by the time I reel out the numbers, Nigerians will know, then the people will be proud of their son, that despite a national duty, despite some other exigencies, despite some other functions that he discharges, he is still carrying on, not found wanting in that sector or that part of lawmaking process. So far, the Deputy Speaker, you would not believe it, has so far, as at Thursday, 13th of June, I think that was last week, The Deputy Speaker has sponsored, answering your question directly, he has sponsored 101 bills. 101 bills. Now, if I could, by the help of hindsight, in the last assembly, night assembly, when he debuted, he left with 44 bills to his name, and out of those 44 bills, 2 bills were assented to. For anyone who knows the workings of the legislature, especially in the National Assembly, we practice bicameral legislature. When a bill debuts, when a bill is presented or introduced on the floor of the House of Representatives, just like in the Senate, that bill, you do first reading, you do second reading, then you commit it to what we call committee stage, and then that is when there will be a public hearing on such a bill. After public hearing, it will now, the particular standing committee will bring their report on that bill. And that bill, the report of that bill will be considered. Items that are not in sync with the objective of that bill, they will be expunged, and there will be, before it can be transferred to the Senate, and the Senate will start first reading, second reading, and third reading of the bill, and then there will be what we call a conference committee. That is where harmonization will take place. And now harmonization here simply means that those gray areas again, where the Senate may not concur with the House of Representatives, or House of Representatives may not concur with them, they have representatives from both chambers who will now discuss those issues and then agree before it can be assented, before it can be transmitted to the villa, to the president for his assent. So you can see that going through the gamut of such legislative procedure is not an easy task. And so having a newcomer in the last assembly giving you 44 bills and now giving you 101 bills, despite all other functions, because every day on his schedule, on his list of to-do list, the Deputy Speaker has a lot of other national functions he attends. Now, I will still want to tell us, still the same lawmaking process, because I have not got into representation. The same lawmaking process, the Deputy Speaker, by virtue of his responsibility of his office, will sit over committees, he will sometimes delegated functions, sometimes his own. He will appear when there is opening ceremonies of some bills or some function of committees, some bills to be examined, or public hearing will be done on some bills. You will see him appear there. And then outside of those ones too, there are some other national issues, some other functions he attends to. So for him to have this time to present, to sponsor 101 bills in just 1 year, we are talking about just 1 year, a space of 1 year, that I will tell you is a lot. Because I have had, I think was it not last week or so, I saw the newspaper screaming headline saying that about 24 senators are yet to sponsor a bill. Then you are having a a lawmaker in the House of Representatives in the person of Right Honorable Deputy Speaker sponsoring 101 bills. That is a lot to go. So that is what he has dedicated, his time to doing in the last 1 year. Then I will give you some other details of this, because it's very important that Nigerians, especially the people who have found him worthy, who have asked him to go to National Assembly for them, it's very important they know what he is doing. So let me give you details of these bills. Out of these 101 bills are assented to. In other words, they are already laws in Nigeria. We are operating, they have given life to it, and they are operational right now, are 2. Now, bills passed by the Senate and House of Representatives, that is both of them concurrence, they are 2. Bills passed by the House of Representatives, in all they are 16. 18 bills have been committed to the Committee of the Whole. Bills refer to standing committees, the standing committees of the House, they are 10. Bills are waiting second reading, they are in all 56. bills awaiting first reading, the one to be introduced, is just one. In all, you have 101 bills to his name. That is a lot. So that tells you how busy the Deputy Speaker and the office of the Deputy Speaker both have been in the last 1 year. That is what the Speaker has taken his time.
Astonishing.
What the Deputy Speaker has taken his time to do.
Astonishing numbers, listeners.
Then I have not. Sorry, just let me take just 2 minutes to run through this. Representation. Of course, every day you hear him. You see him on television. You hear press releases of his activities. That tells you he is representing the people who have sent him, Bende people who have sent him. But it's not just only Bende. He's representing Abia. He's representing the Igbo land. He's representing Nigeria. He is everywhere. Then oversight function. One good thing about the office of the Deputy Speaker, and right now the office he occupies, is that he chairs most committees. I will tell you how. The committee of the whole, whatever law, whatever bill that we go through, that the House of Representatives must pass as a law in the House of Reps, must go through him. He holds the gavel. So he will scrutinize all. So everything passes through him. Okay. And let me also tell Nigerians and independent that recently you must have heard that the Deputy Speaker presided over the plenary when sectoral debates were called in the House of Representatives. By sectoral debate, I think the House of Representatives, my memory serves me right, they have held a debate on agriculture. They have held a debate on security, national security. They have also held a debate on, I think, finance.
Okay.
Now, all of these, he partook. Some he presided. So he is not just a lawmaker. He is a presiding officer. So for him to have time to do all of this means he is very, very busy in the National Assembly.
All right, listeners, astonishing numbers there. I mean, I do not envy the Deputy Speaker. He's all over the place in terms of both lawmaking, both representation, and all whatnot, even to constituency projects, which we reflect on. But let's be very specific about some of the laws or some of the bills he sponsored and has headlined, and one of them includes the Southeast Development Commission, which is awaiting the President's assent, and when that happens, I think it will become a law in the nation. What actually inspired him? I would love you to be a bit brief and concise and straight to the point, so we can traverse other bills before we are halfway through the program. The Southeast Development Commission, what led the Deputy Speaker to dust that particular bill which came forward and failed in previous assemblies?
Mr. Wilson, thank you for this question. We are very lucky to have him at this time. We are very lucky to have such a person at this time, of our national life and history. This particular bill is very, very essential, and it will help indeed if eventually, for me, it's one of those signature bills of the Deputy Speaker. This bill, as you know, failed in the 7th Assembly. In the 8th Assembly, it failed. Now, in the 9th Assembly, it also failed. And coming at this time when we have an individual like him, he dusted it, like you said, and brought it up. And what is happening, it was given, I would say, expeditious, hearing. It happened that within just a space of how many months or so, it passed in the House of Representatives. They did not still take time to push this bill to the Senate. And it was also given accelerated hearing. And it passed in the Senate. There was a conference committee set up for that, for concurrence. I'm sure that one happened. But last week, Cherry News came up. And what was the news? That is being transmitted. I read a report myself. We were all excited, we were all elated that it has journeyed up to that stage and that development. I'm sure as we speak right now, that bill is before Mr. President. And everybody is expectant. We are all waiting to see the day Mr. President will append his signature to make it a law that we will have Southeast Development Commission Establishment Bill signed into law, which will necessitate the establishment of Southeast Development Commission. And what does that bill seek? What does it seek to do? The bill seeks to establish a Southeast Development Commission charged with the responsibility, among other things, to receive and manage funds from allocation of the Federation account for the reconstruction. Note, this is very important, for the reconstruction and the rehabilitation of roads, houses, and other infrastructural damages suffered by the region as a result of the effect of the Civil War. For 3 good years, the Civil War was fought, and as well as tackle the other ecological problems and other related environmental and developmental challenges in the southeastern states. Southeastern state we are talking about is not just Abia. We're talking about 5 eastern states of Abia, Anambra, Enugu, Ebonyi, and
Imo State.
And the Imo State. These 5 eastern states. So imagine when eventually this bill passes or is assented to by Mr. President. Our problems as a people, they may not be completely solved, but then we will be given a sense of belonging. How many years, about 50-something years after the Civil War, Nigerian nation is remembering to give us this? We have heard and we see what NDDC is doing. Recently in the, I think, 7th Assembly or 8th Assembly, Northeast Development Commission was also passed into law, and today they have that commission in place. I've seen headquarters in Abuja temporarily here because it ought to be somewhere in the northeast. So you now see that the 6 eastern, northeastern states are enjoying Gombe, Adamawa, Taraba, and the rest of them. So if this happens in the southeast, I tell you that Abians, Igbos in general will be happy for this. And for me, I am excited, and the Deputy Speaker who is sponsoring this bill is also very well excited, believing that this will happen. And when it happens, Nigeria. So this is, like I said, one of the signature bills. But this is not the only bill. Like I said, 101 bills. This is not the only bill that the Deputy Speaker.
Let's look at another one. Let's look at another one before perhaps we could add a few more as we close in on half time. The Nigerian Police Act Amendment Bill 2023. Tell us why this one is of huge importance to the Deputy Speaker. We know that Nigerians are kind of worried about how the Nigerian police officers and their activities, their demeanors, including misdemeanors, actually managing Nigerians and all of that. But why is this of huge importance to the Deputy Speaker? Of course, we know that it's expected to go through other processes there, but tell us.
Thank you. This is also another important bill. It's not just only important to the Deputy Speaker, it's important to Nigeria. I want to tell you something, I'm sure you know about that. Just before that bill came, or I think it happened just about same time, simultaneously. Before that bill came to the floor of the House, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had set up a committee in the villa to look at. There was a committee to look at our security, and this issue came to front burner. So to tell you that it's not just only important to the Deputy Speaker, it's also very important to the President, it's also very important to so many other Nigerians. Now, to equally underscore the importance of this, I tell you, the day it was debated on the floor of the House, I monitored the plenary that day. Nigerians from the north, Nigerians from the south, Nigerians from across the nooks and crannies of this federation all supported that bill, and that was why it passed. Because if they didn't support, it wouldn't have passed. I could recall, is that a minority leader also or deputy? Yes, minority leader, deputy or leader. Honorable Madaki. I remember when Madaki spoke on the floor, he said, when this bill came, was it in the previous assemblies? I wouldn't remember exactly whether it is 7th or 8th assembly. He said he spoke against it at that point because they felt that Nigeria was not yet right for this bill. But now with the synopsis of the bill and with the work done to that bill, that we have seen the need in present day Nigeria. We have seen the need to incorporate this bill and to make sure that this bill passes. And then you ask one important question. It is important simply because Nigeria wants to get rid of insecurity. We have tried so many other ways, it's not happening. I mean, we feel that at this time, we need to have a bill that will establish state police so that you and I can be safer, so that our environment can be well policed. And we have always advanced this reason, this discussion, this superior argument. I feel is very superior. That if you bring someone from Sokoto or from Zamfara or from Bayelsa to go into a place that the language is alien to him, he does not understand the language of the people, that will not go well. He will not police the environment very well. He will not police the environment, but he brings somebody who knows almost everybody in that environment, who speaks the language. I tell you, that would be nice. That would be so nice, and the person will hear that these people are our people. They belong to us, and every movement, every criminal activity, they will track, they will trace, and they will get the perpetrators because they know. In those days, you can even now town criers in a community. Even in my village, that happens because we know everybody. If a stranger, even though that if not now that urbanity, traces of urbanity, are coming into my locality in Abia. I tell you that even now, because people know who is who, they will tell you this man is from this compound. He is the son to this other man. They know each other. And if strangers come in, we simply identify strangers and we know them. And if there are issues, the Eze, the village head, the chairman of the community, they will summon the heads of those families, and they can easily identify who has perpetrated a crime in the village. That is the setting. So imagine if you have a case where everybody is almost known to each other, and the language they speak is not strange to all of them. They will easily police the environment very well. That is simply what we are saying.
Okay.
That is simply what the bill is speaking to. And I'll tell you something. Let me just read out something here to just let you know. It is a bill for an act to regulate the powers of the police to promote effective collaboration between the police and other security agencies, and to provide for operational framework for community policing in Nigeria and for related matters. Now, this bill essentially seeks to amend the Nigerian Police Act 2020 to regulate the powers of the police to promote effective collaboration between the police and other security agencies, and to provide for that is Nigerian Police Act I'm reading. So essentially, that bill we are talking about is just to make sure that when it sees the daylight eventually, that it will police the environment very well. That is what that bill seeks to achieve.
Amongst the bills as well.
I was thinking it was the bill I was reading, but this is amendment to police act.
Okay. I'm sure there are other bills which you want to reflect on in the next couple of minutes. I would allow you to do that. But amongst that 101 is the bill to establish a Federal College of Education in Bende, and it has been passed by the House and transmitted to the Senate for concurrence.
Again, the Deputy Speaker is up and doing, and that tells you that he has his people at mind. He has them at heart, and he wants to make sure that, look, he attracts a federal presence to Bende that will help impact the people of Bende. This bill essentially again seeks to provide for the establishment of Federal College of Education, Bende, as an institute to offer full-time courses leading to the awards of National Certificate of Education and diplomas. At the moment, there is not a thing like that in Bende or in Abia. I don't think so. Do we have a College of Education? The one we have there is state-owned. Do we have a thing like that there? Now, establishment of such an institution will help promote literacy within that setting. That is what the Deputy Speaker is talking. It's not just only that. There are some other bills, like we have read out earlier, 101 bills. All of those bills. There are some other bills that are not just only seeking to establish one or two things in Bende, but establish some other things within the Federation. Like we have Federal Fire and Rescue Service Bill, which is also pursuing. We still have Administrative and Criminal Justice Act Repeal and Enactment Bill, which is also pursuing. We have Broadcasting Practitioners Bill, is also pursuing. There are so many of them. Nigerian Peace Corps Establishment Bill, he is also pursuing. If it is not an amendment bill, is a complete overhaul of such bill. Then you have an Armed Forces Act Amendment Bill, he's also pursuing. All of these bills seek to provide legal framework that will help our country. If it is an economic bill, it simply will bring better governance. That is what the Deputy Speaker, like we have said, he is not only representing Bende, he is representing Nigeria, starting from Bende. Right. So these are some of the bills so far within 1 year. We have other ones coming up by the grace of God. Now imagine a Deputy Speaker after 3 years, after 4 years in the National Assembly. Imagine where would have been. This office is busy, the Deputy Speaker is very busy and is on his toes, trying to make laws, better laws for good governance of Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Livinus Wabuyog. If you are just tuning in, apparently you have missed a whole lot. However, there is still more talking to be done, more explanation to be given in the light of the 1 year anniversary of the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives and member representing Bende Federal Constituency. We are taking stock of two major duties of the Deputy Speaker, looking at the legislative aspect, including representation, and on the other hand, constituency projects, how he has fared in the last 1 year, and it's up for debate. And you've listened to his Chief Press Secretary, Livinus Wabuyog, shed light on some of those things, and especially those that are already bills and those in the offing, set to go through one parliamentary process or the other before it gets to the president for assent. However, like I said, it is a double-phased program this morning. We are going to embark on a short break, and that's because we are going to have the former minority leader of the Abia State House of Assembly and an advisor to the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives. I'm talking about Honorable Chijoke Chukwu, join us as well to bring us up to speed in that aspect, of which after that we will have Livinus Wabuyog join us again for our closing formalities. It is Ben Carlos' mandate. Thank you for staying with the flow of God's own state. It is still Ben Carlos' mandate. I've already introduced my guest and he has joined us. I'm talking about Honorable Chijoke Chukwu. He's an advisor to the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives and the former minority leader of the Abia State House of Assembly. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Wisdom.
All right.
Happy to be with Flo this morning.
Thank you very much. Excited to hear your voice as well. Let's delve into it right away. The Deputy Speaker, in his first stint at the House of Representatives, did set a standard in terms of projects which came to limelight under his watchful eyes. And upon return, his colleagues there at the House of Representatives thought it wise to elevate his position to the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives. In terms of constituency project, has he maintained that standard? Tell us how it has been in the last 1 year.
Thank you very much. Before I proceed, I want to use this opportunity to wish the President and the Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the Muslim community all over the world, and in Abia in particular, Happy Salah. Coming to your question, it is a thing of joy for Bende Federal Constituency and Abia State and Southeast in general, following the elevation of the Deputy Speaker, the member representing the Federal Constituency to the position of the Deputy Speaker. It's a thing of joy to everybody. And it has come with a lot of benefits, particularly in terms of the constituency project. The Deputy Speaker has taken attraction of constituency projects to not just build the Federal Constituency, the entire area and Southeast in general. You will understand with me that he's not just representing the Federal Constituency, he's representing Abia, he's representing the entire Southeast. He has taken that function to an all-time high in terms of project attraction. For the Federal Constituency, there is no word in the Federal Constituency in the last 1 year that has not benefited in terms of constituency projects, in terms of empowerment, and in terms of human resource development. I will start with from Amokwe Akanu Road in Iten. That road is ongoing now. Part of it has been started, and I assure you, in the next few weeks, even with the rains, will be completed. Likewise, Abakole Alai Road. That road has been in a very bad shape, and nobody has touched that road. I can assure you, since in the history of representation in Bende, no elected public officer has ever worked on that road the way the present Deputy Speaker is doing. The starting of that road has been completed. And you know that particular Abakole Alai Road is a road that has been heavily devastated by erosion because of the terrain. It's erosion prone. So that road has been completed and has started. Likewise, the road in Bende, Market Road in Bende, if you go there today, you will not recognize that Bende local government is a rural community. It has transformed the place, and the level of work he is doing is so high, the quality is so high that you will not know that it is an elected House of Rep member, going by what we have had in the previous representations. So in the same Bende, the Ndioko Road has been asphalted. Bende local government headquarters is under construction. There is also construction of garri processing mill in Israel and then back. That means there is no area of infrastructure that the Deputy Speaker has not ventured into, and he is doing wonderfully well. Outside the construction of these garri processing mills in Israel and then back, if you go to Alaye again, there is 3 classroom block in a life science school that has been completed. In healthcare, the Deputy Speaker periodically, I know that for the past 1 year, he has engaged in eye care medical treatments and surgery for Bende dwellers, and even beyond Bende, twice in the past 1 year. So if you come to infrastructure development, his performance has been above par. Sometimes I wonder how he does the magic, because I know there are 360 members in the House of Representatives, and everybody is struggling for a fair share of this constituency project. Outside that, in agriculture, he has conducted several agri empowerment trainings and has equally given us agri input, including financial empowerment to bring the rural dwellers to ensure that they benefit maximally from his representation. So Bende have never had it so good before, and we know that in the coming months, as the federal government continues to implement the 2024 budget, Bende will be shocked at the level of transformation that will go on in the local government. Beyond Bende, I know in different local governments in other states that we have actually attracted projects that are going to not only his colleagues but broader House of Rep members to support them in transforming the lives of their people. He has put in projects in Isialangwa, he has put in projects in Arutikwa, he has put in projects in Aba to support other members of the House of Representatives who are not even of his party, because he places first. His premium is on the welfare of Abians, on the welfare of Southeast, irrespective of party constitution. So he's doing wonderfully well for widows, for vulnerable members of the society, and pensioners. He has not left them behind. We noticed that during his last birthday celebration, a lot of pensioners in Abia, vulnerable members of the society, schools for the blind, moderate homes, were actually given so many gifts to uplift their living standards. So his revelation has been wonderful, not just for being the federal constituency, but for the entire state and Southeast in general.
Before I let you go, Honorable Chijioke Chukwu, I mean, you've mentioned a lot of things which he has done in the last 1 year, and some say that the reward of good work is more work. And what assurance are you giving to the good people of Bende that going forward in the next cycle, it is expected that they are going to experience even better constituency projects, especially touching those areas of their communities that are deficient of one thing or the other?
Wisdom, you know, I've always said this time without number. The best thing that has happened to build the federal constituency in recent political dispensation is the election of Right Honorable Benjamin Carlo as the Deputy Speaker of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I know that in the next few months, that Bende will be totally transformed, that a newcomer or somebody who has left Bende, say in the last 5 years, will not be able to know that the same agrarian community, the same rural local government is the same. It is already happening, starting from Bende, local government headquarters. If you go to some of the rural compounds, you will not know it's Bende. It has been far better transformed than most of the streets you find in Enugu, than most of the streets you find in Owerri, and a few of the streets that are in Abia. So I can assure them, the constituents, that they are in for good time in terms of representation, in terms of legislation, in terms of oversight. They will get the best. They should just wait and continue to support Right Honorable Benjamin Carlo, continue to support him in words, in prayers, and in deeds, that we will have the best always.
Let me sincerely appreciate you, Honorable Chijioke Chukwu, for coming on Ben Carlos' mandate this morning, especially to present the achievements of the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives in terms of constituency projects and, of course, what could likely happen in the nearest future. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you. Thank you.
It is time for us.